First, live, local. This is First Alert Weather Extra.
Well, good evening. Thank you for joining us here at our First Alert Weather Extra show, 7 p.m. every weekday. Hi, Mark. I'm joined obviously by Mark Nelsen.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm
good.
Good.
Pretty good day here in the metro, but not everywhere.
I know, that's true. And you know, we do have a few showers actually arriving as we speak. It's going to be kind of a showery night. We'll get back to Mark, by the way. He's going to talk about Cascade snowfall and also what an inversion is. This is a really hot word this time of year. And we often actually talk about it all through the winter. But likely dry for this weekend. We do have some change-ups that we've actually shifted over the last few days or so. Models have just kind of been boring and there's not a lot of weather going on, but we'll get to that. Okay, so a beautiful time lapse on our Shriners camera this morning. I mean, beautiful colors, maybe a little bit of fog, maybe even had some frost this morning. It kind of was a good, eventful start. We saw lots of blue skies, but then the clouds kind of picked up as we went through the day. Observed lows this morning up and down I-5. We're in the mid-30s for the most part. Eugene got to freezing. Kelso's 38. We got 32 at Tillamook, 37 in Newport. It's kind of our first little blast of cold air the last few mornings, which has been nice. We haven't even been in the 30s this entire month and up until this week. By the way, Hillsborough finally made it to 32 overnight, which means they officially had their first autumn frost, almost a winter frost at this point, because average first frost for Hillsborough is usually late October, so we're about a month overdue there. Portland yet to do so, but we're not super worried. That typically happens mid-November, but I mean, it's been as late as December 26th some years. Okay, wind right now. We've been talking about that east wind today. It was gusty at times. Troutdale, 24 miles per hour as we speak with that latest gust reading. 35 in Corbett and near 40 in Crown Point. I was looking at these peak gusts, and honestly, Mark, I haven't updated this graphic in the last few hours. So these might be, you know, a few miles per hour off, but still generalized. You can see some pretty strong gusts somewhere in the airport area. I-205, 27 mile per hour peak gusts. Crown Point, last I checked, 51 mile per hour gusts today. Okay, we have some rain arriving, as I mentioned. 45 degrees right now in Newport. Wet pavement, as you can see there. And this is actually a really weak system that we have been tracking. It's making an odd shape right now, and I'll explain why. This is a front. It's very weak, but notice how it's making a little bubble looking thing right here. That's because it's actually separating in two as we speak, and so we're kind of stuck in the middle, very similar to a system we had earlier this last weekend, but this is going to be another low that separates itself and actually goes down into California and the desert southwest. Live look at radar, though, you can see this is just kind of coming in waves. It's not going to be a consistent steady rain until likely while we're sleeping, and so this event is going to pass through overnight and actually maybe out of here by the morning. Newport was some of the first areas to receive some light rain. Haven't seen anything to note or write home about. Salem's just now getting some showers as well. Looking at our forecast the next 12 hours, this is our high resolution model. Now just showing again that front eventually will make its way across our area. This is now 6 o'clock tomorrow morning, and I think most of the metro will be dry. Lots of clouds for most of us. We could see some sun breaks once the sun is fully above the horizon, and still some lingering showers for the coast and possibly the central valleys. Still consistent on our forecast rain overnight tonight, probably around 1/4 of an inch for Portland, but I think that may even be generous. We'll see how much rain we get because, again, this system is so weak. Most of us less than 1/4 of an inch just in the next 12 hours or so. So tonight, looking at our lows, it will be a little warmer. Remember, moisture makes it a little warmer overnight. Last few nights have been on the clear side, so rain will turn to showers. We even have some mountain snow from this system. Lows will be in the 40s. Eastern Oregon, same thing, but we do have 30s in the forecast for that Thursday morning lows. Okay, Thursday, hour by hour. Yeah, shower chance in the morning. Again, that's mainly just for the coast and the valleys. Dry lunch, and then we'll see some sun breaks in the afternoon. Really calm Thursday. I know about a week ago we thought it'd be a really soggy day, so since the system is broken apart, that has since changed. 3-day forecast, we do have, again, that shower chance, but other than that, I think we're going to be dry all the way through at least Saturday. We'll get to the 7-day in a minute, but I think this is the key summary about what's going to happen over the next 7 days. Uneventful, really nothing happening, not much wind, mainly are all dry. And it's funny because it's November and this is our wet season, and typically we get some active systems, but just hasn't really worked in our favor the last little bit. So we talked about that front rolling through 7 a.m. tomorrow. Okay, well, let's look at midday. This is when we start to see the clouds clear. I mentioned we'll probably see some sun breaks in the afternoon. As we go into Thursday evening, yeah, partly cloudy skies rolling through, nothing too crazy. 7 a.m. Friday, this is when we'll see maybe some upper level clouds. And you can see most of the rain is up into Washington, and that's because the jet stream is up there. And we're kind of building in this really weak high pressure overhead. That's going to steer us clear of any kind of major systems. So I'll show you what the jet stream looks like. This is splitting into two. Paused it right here so you can see those two separate systems. And then there's that high pressure that comes in. Notice we're not in the deep dark reds. We're not going to see 60s or anything like that. We have a really stagnant temperature forecast, most likely in the 50s for the next week. And this also will prevent a lot of rain or any kind of wet systems from entering our region. So we're going to be mainly dry through the weekend. As we go into next week, notice there's just a little wiggle here. I mean, gosh, you got to squint probably to see it. We may see a shower sometime midweek next week, but other than that, we're kind of holding strong to that ridge until probably even after Thanksgiving or right around that point. A little hint to Thanksgiving. By the way, edited some of our turkey graphics. Oh yes, got all of them here. We got the running one, the twerking one. I don't even know what the other one is. Okay, let's look at our 7-day forecast. So yeah, I talked about our next 3 days. Notice that our lows will drop just slightly early next week, so I do think we'll have a few more mornings in the 30s and possibly Tuesday morning into Wednesday morning. And then that shower chance is really low Sunday into Monday. I'm going to show you Sundays here. This is one of our AI models, and so it's showing, yeah, we're dry Saturday, maybe a few clouds. As we get into Sunday, mostly dry through the day. We could see a shower really late in the evening. Again, this system is very weak. As we get into this weekend, by the way, I know duck game, very big. Our anchor, Pete Ferryman, honestly is very excited about this game. I think he's mentioned it, what, 10 times today, Mark?
Yep.
Something like that. Yeah, so USC Trojans take on the Ducks at home. Dry, calm, cool. We're looking at 40s, possibly touching 50s. It's just going to be kind of a cloudy day there. And okay, let's talk about Thanksgiving because this is the big thing. Again, I'm going back to that word uneventful because it just doesn't seem like we're going to see anything crazy. Unlikely to be stormy. I looked at the climate outlook just so you can see. Wet stuff is staying to our east. This is where we're seeing actually snow in the Rockies, and below normal precipitation, that again where the ridge or the high pressure is strongest, is to our south. And so we're just in the middle. We may see a sprinkle, but it's not guaranteed that it's going to, of course, impact our whole turkey day. No lowland snow. We got no sign of cold air. Here's our 10-day temperature forecast. I said it's going to be in the 50s. And man, right now, early look, the 27th, which is Thanksgiving, looks to be in the mid-50s. And then here's the kicker, good roads. I know lots of people are traveling for the holiday, and, local roads sometimes can be hit or miss. Good news is Columbia Gorge and Coast Range, perfectly fine. Bare roads are not looking at any concerns there. I-84 Blue Mountains all the way to Idaho, mainly bare. We're going to see what happens early next week just because, again, the Rockies are probably going to get a little more action than we will. And then I-5 to California or even up into Canada, bare roads and no snow for some of those mountains as well. So that's all I have, but I do want to talk about the snow in the mountains because it's been real quiet up there. So Mark's going to talk about that and also what that word inversion means, Mark. We hear it a lot.
Yeah, and for the record, Pete, yes, he only probably mentioned it 8 or 9 times today, but he said, this could be they're saying this could be the biggest game.
I'm a Beaver fan, so
Ever.
for me, it's like, meh. No such thing as a big duck game. Come on.
Yeah. All right, so let's talk about inversions, because today we saw the first hint of our wintertime inversions, and for us, more or less, the end of November through early March. That's more or less our winter in our pretty mild climate. So we can take this full, but this is in a perfectly what we call a well-mixed atmosphere. You're like, what am I looking at? It's just kind of a trace from ground level all the way up to 81 miles above the surface of the Earth. So in the text on the right side, maybe a little better. In a typical atmosphere, temperatures fall with height up to about 30,000 feet. So if everything's perfect, Portland, it's 72. You go up to Government Camp at 4,000 feet, it would be 57, and Timberline maybe about 7 degrees cooler at 50. All right, so if we've got a big ridge of high pressure over us in the winter, Timberline gets up to 50. That happens sometimes with a big area of high pressure, even in December or January. So is it 72 in Portland in December or January? No, absolutely not, because we get what we call an inversion. Here's an example. I just grabbed this off one of our podcasts. That's why it has the funny arrow and the little dots. The dots are Hillsborough, Portland, and Troutdale. Last January 14th, look at the low clouds stuck in the valleys. That is what we call an inversion. That day, I believe it was in the 50s up there at Government Camp in Timberline. We saw a hint of it today, just beginning. 42 at Salem. We were stuck under the low clouds all day. Yet it was 56 here in Portland. That was due to the easterly wind. Let me jump ahead, though. Well, it was 42 in Salem, up Highway 22 at Detroit at about 1,700 feet. It was 55 degrees. All right, so what's going on here? Well, during the warm season, yes, we can get a big ridge of high pressure, and it can be very warm in the higher elevations. Could be 50, 55 way up at Government Camp and Timberline. But the nights are getting so long now. The days are very short. Weak sunshine, so when the valleys cool off at night, they're not able to warm up again during the day. It's just, it all adds up to like, hey, we're kind of stuck in the cold air in the valleys, and it gets noticeably worse once we get into December. And of course, if there's moisture on the ground, hard to believe in November, yes, we have moisture on the ground, we can easily get dense fog or low clouds. And if we get high pressure over us for several days, we can sit in the low clouds in the valleys. And we have some real gray and gloomy days in December and January when we get under high pressure. The only thing that tends to keep the metro area a little sunnier is that gusty easterly wind blowing out of the gorge. So that's the inversion. We just started to see it today. I'm sure we'll see it a lot more coming up. One more thing, Cascades update. This will be quick because there's not much happening in the Cascades there. Snow level forecast coming up for the mountains. Look how high it is most of the time here. Through Sunday evening, that front comes in, it's very weak. Okay, it could snow Monday, but there's hardly any moisture in the mountains, and it goes high again for next Wednesday. So how much snow? This is that AI model we were just talking about. This is through tomorrow morning, and then we go beyond that point all the way through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week. There's just very little snow in the mountains. So I think the big message there, Payton, is that my ski pass is not going to be used this weekend. We know that. Yeah. And there's a decent chance it may not get used, you know, Thanksgiving. Well, I wouldn't ski on Thanksgiving, but Black Friday, maybe the day after, maybe Saturday.
Yeah.
It's looking iffy at this point.
And then it's basically December.
Yeah, then more or less it's December. Yeah, the Sunday after Thanksgiving, the end of the 4-day weekend is the last day of November, yes.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy. I think, you know, we mentioned this yesterday, but a year ago, there was almost 4 feet of snow at Timberline. So, right. I mean, it varies year to year. We're not super concerned.
And this doesn't mean anything about our upcoming winter. We've had very mild Novembers, and then something happens the first or second week of December, and winter is on. So yes. We don't, this may or may not mean anything for this upcoming winter. Don't read too much into it.
Well, Mark, we are in prep season, and I always say you do not want to be caught off guard when that winter storm arrives, or if it will arrive. Who knows? But here's our Fox 12 weather app. You can download it, scan the QR code on your screen, find it on your app store. It is such an amazing tool. I'm not just saying that because I'm a little bit biased when it comes to the weather app, but we have amazing videos that we post multiple times a day, notifications, you get alerts if it's about to rain. Obviously, we can also post our podcast episodes when they are initially released. You can be the first one to kind of listen to that and watch it. And yeah, it's just, you can become a little Portland weather expert, which is always very helpful when we get to these kind of active months. Well, that's all I got. Mark, you got anything else?
Nope. Camilla's eating lunch, and she's on at 8 o'clock, our next show, so it's 7:16 p.m. Next show will be at 8 p.m., Fox 12 Plus, and she'll be giving you an updated forecast then while I go eat lunch.
Yes, of course. Well, thank you so much for watching. By the way, we now have these on our website if you want to watch today's episode again, or also what we've done this week. Have a good night.